Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Coffee and Cannoli. Back again with the where is he? On this side over here, we have the Putty Man, Gamer Podheads himself. You're here. I could see you.
All right.
Plug your stuff.
It's called Gamer Podheads. It's Google it.
Just don't Google yourself.
He losses.
Right below me, I got Campo Reviews. Campo, what do you want to plug?
Plug Johnny Donuts 777. Google me.
Great place to go.
And he's not talking about Discord.
The website. So today's episode, we are sticking with the gaming theme. We are doing our top 5 favorite OG Xbox games.
Yes,
we're talking about
Xbox
the console that put Microsoft in the gaming market. With the complete with that big controller, with the big ass logo that they had in the middle. We gotta admit, when it came out, that big X on the box, it stood out.
Oh yeah,
well, that's why it was an Xbox,
right? But I mean, there were so many and I'm glad they went with the Xbox. They were going to call it a bunch of different things. They're kind of dumb. The launch was with The Rock. The Rock actually launched the system with Bill Gates. Pretty cool. But enough talk about the system itself. We're here to talk about the games. It was to rival the PS2. So Campo, start from the bottom.
Oh, poop. Okay, so I begrudgingly put this caps on my list. I very much enjoyed playing it with friends, but I don't really like the series, and I don't think it's that. I think it's overrated of a game, but I put so many hours in it and had so much fun playing the multiplayer with my friends. It's Halo and Halo 2.
I can see that. It's not everybody's cup of tea. Buddy.
Okay. My number 5 is capped, and it is a GTA San Andreas and Fable.
Good choice. My number 5 is probably something that nobody expects, and that's the Hulk Ultimate Destruction.
Nice.
That was probably the best Hulk game, period.
Yeah. It's in the
Forgot about that game. Not in my honorable mentions.
Campo.
All right. So I should have said this from the beginning. I have all caps on my list except number 2. So I mean, I went a little crazy today. My number 4 is Project Gotham Racing 2 at Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition.
Yes.
Okay, my turn.
Yeah.
My number 4 is Soul Calibur 2 with Spawn, capped with Def Jam Fight for New York.
Good choice with that one. My number 4 is Caps. Campo, I got the same as yours there. And I also have Psychonauts on mine as well.
You have a triple caps?
No, it's Midnight Club and Psychonauts.
Okay.
Midnight Club, I had both versions. I had that, and a list we'll do a little later would be the PSP maybe. And I had Midnight Club 3 on the PSP, and that thing was fantastic. But I had many hours on the. It was a toss up between another one in my honorable mentions, but Midnight Club made the list.
All right, I got my number 3, obviously caps, Prince of Persia, Sands of Time, and Jet Set Radio Future.
All right, that'll go off my honorable mentions now. You can just knock it out my honorable mentions here. All right, my number 3 is not capped, and that is Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. Yes, love that game.
Really good game.
Yes.
My number 3, going back to what you were saying, Campo, a game I spent many hours on the online multiplayer, and that's Halo 2.
Okay.
Oh, wait, that's me.
Yes.
Number 2, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic.
Number
the one that's not capped.
Capped on this. Actually, my 3 was the only one that wasn't capped. For number 2, it is Halo Combat Evolved and Halo 2.
My number 2 is Fable.
All right, my number 1, obviously capped. This is capped to a point of no return. It's every Splinter Cell game on the console. So
yes,
Splinter Cell, Pandora Tomorrow, Chaos Theory, Double Agent, like every single one of them.
The list goes on. There was Sam Fisher. Ubisoft, bring back Sam Fisher.
Yeah, you're crazy.
Please.
You're absolutely crazy.
Please, I need another Splinter Cell game. It's been too long. Or just do a remake.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, go ahead, Putty. Sorry.
Number 1 for me is Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2.
No, 2 sucks.
I don't care. I still love them both.
My number 1 is the OG Knights of the Old Republic.
I just had to put 2 in there because I even though it's
I know
not,
they go hand in hand, but Knights.
I know,
the
the
first
one's
one
still
Part 2 is
much.
really bad.
I
It's
agree,
not
but
really bad. It feels
yeah.
unfinished.
But compared to the first one, it's like
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm again, it's kind of like I actually had Halo 2. I was originally gonna have Halo 2 as the only one for number 2 because Halo didn't have the online multiplayer, but then and plus the sword. Oh my god. Anyway, but the reason I did that is because if I really go down to it, I wouldn't have played Halo 2 if it wasn't for Halo 1. And same thing, I'm not to Republic 1, I played religiously, but then when 2 came out, I remember standing outside waiting to get in that game. It was a huge deal, you know what I mean? So I had to put them together.
Knights 2 is, to be fair, done by the same guys who did Fallout New Vegas, Obsidian Softworks. So it was but Knights is the far better game.
Oh, I still agree. I had to put them both.
But BioWare had a few good games in this. We can safe to say that the Xbox probably had some of the best Star Wars games.
Yes. Yep. And see, one thing that I wanted to point out, and I put on the list because I almost had WWE Raw and Raw 2. And the reason is because one thing that the Xbox did, no other console did, and I loved it, was the option of the music. I actually bought San Andreas for Xbox because when I heard you can actually use your music in the actual radio for the cars, I had to get it so I can play on there. And I remember it literally was its own radio station where it actually play your music. It was messed up though because you had to put your music in a certain order. I hated it. But still, you had it. But then, like Raw, you literally can make entrance music with any track you had on the thing, and literally make your own entry music. Like I had Bone Thugs and Harmony coming in, going like ba ba ba, like coming out like he was all like I'm about to kick your ass.
But
like
see,
it was so
little
cool.
did you know there was already a Bone Thugs and Harmony song in the game.
I know, but that's what made me want to use their music.
Little did you know that you could put your music in baseball for all the players as they walk up to the plate.
Walk up music too. There were a few games that allowed you to choose your own music.
Def Jam 5 for New York did that too, I think.
Def Jam was one of them. Playboy the Mansion allowed you to do that.
Oh my god, I can't believe you know that game.
Everybody knows Playboy the Mansion.
Oh my god,
it was like The Sims with porn.
Yes, it was.
It was literally The Sims.
Like I know it's good play. I just gotta say, I mean, I couldn't believe they at least did topless on that. I was like, what? Like no game did it before. So yes, I spent hours and hours of time on that game, like stupidly. Anyway,
all I heard was Playboy topless, and then Putty say it, and I just expected that. Like of course Putty had that.
But
game.
yes, there was a game called Playboy the Mansion. It was very similar. It played like The Sims, basically.
Exactly.
You're playing as Hugh Hefner, and you're building your Playboy empire, basically. And you do photo shoots, you get articles, you have to schmooze with people. Like
you have
toplessness aside, the mechanics of the game were actually really deep. They were really deep mechanics. Like it was you had to create a magazine every month and adjust the price. You had to adjust. It was almost like a business sim.
Yeah, it was. Like it was so good, and then what great was you actually had to hire people, like hire models, like you come in there, photographers, and they would you would actually have people doing articles. Like you wouldn't actually read the articles, but you would hire people to do articles, and you had to put together a magazine. You had a deadline, and then whatever money you're using, you're like to put into the grotto, because the more you built into the mansion, the more people and the better models you can get. So it was like a ever revolving thing where the better you do, the more money you put into the business, the more you would get back. It was actually
fun. It was a pretty fun game, I have to admit that. But going back to what we're saying about Star Wars, Star Wars, like I said, we have some of the best. Like nobody mentioned Battlefront 2.
No, you know what's funny? I actually thought about it. I don't think I played Battlefront 2 on the Xbox. I played it on the PlayStation. And so when I'm making these lists, I try to make sure, because that was the situation I came into with San Andreas, because I played Vice City and Grand Theft Auto 3 on the PS2.
Because they were exclusive to that.
Oh, were they? Okay, see, I couldn't remember exactly. Oh, yeah, that's right. They were exclusive. And then finally, Xbox got San Andreas. But the only reason I picked it up for Xbox and didn't continue on the PlayStation is, again, when I heard on the magazine saying, oh, you get to use your music for it, I was like, I definitely have to have it on Xbox. Like, why not have your own music going on in San Andreas, which there was good music in San Andreas.
San Andreas has a great soundtrack.
It does. But
Andreas, who's she?
Yeah. Right? But either way, it does have a good soundtrack, but it just felt so good to play a game and turn to a radio and have your own music in there. It's so weird. You know what I mean? So,
Campo, you've been oddly quiet the last few minutes. Go ahead. Say something.
I don't have anything. I got Fable.
Fable, your list is. I thought you had a bigger. No, not too many honorable mentions on your
I
list.
got a lot.
Yeah.
My experience with Xbox is very different. We were very heavy into PlayStation 2, and Xbox I didn't have that many games for. For my friends at least, like Xbox was like the turning point, but it didn't really fully happen until 360. So for Xbox, I didn't have like a gigantic library of games. It was mostly things I rented. Like the ones I named to were basically everything that I owned.
Okay.
Like I had a few other ones. Like I do have honorable mentions, right? But like ones we rented, like Fable, I didn't even know. My friend had Fable, and we would always go to his house to smoke. So we would just play Fable the whole time that we were there.
Now I can't remember, was Fable before or after Knights of the Old Republic?
I don't remember.
I think it was after.
Was it after? Because
it was near the end of the lifespan.
Yeah.
Okay, because that was one of the, like, I know Fable and Knights of the Old Republic, whichever one came first. Comment if you guys know, but that was one of the first few games that allowed the good and evil mechanic.
Yeah, actually, I think it was Knights of the Republic that came before, and the reason I state that is because I remember how, because I played dark versions of both games, but I remember in Fable, like Knights of the Republic, there's so much you can do when it comes to go to the dark side. But Fable seemed like it was more limited. Like you could force people to put money outdoors in the buildings, things that nature. But and your character would look evil, but like you couldn't like choose like what path you did in the darkness. As far as, so I felt like I think I remember Fable being second because I was like, how come the Old Republic does this, but Fable does it? So it
Fable
did. But
2, Fable 2, your character ages as time progresses in the game.
Yes,
Your
that was the one that actually
and that was a kind of cool mechanic too.
Yeah. Tony Hawk, you could have your music in the game.
Yes.
Yeah, you could.
Let's talk about probably the best game on the Xbox, which was Tony Hawk's Underground 2.
Yeah.
I got Pro Skater 3 on there. Yeah.
I mean,
I have a few other ones I want to go through.
I think we played Pro Skater 3 and maybe Underground 1.
Okay.
On Xbox. I'm pretty sure we had Underground. We had Underground and Underground 2 on PlayStation as well. Okay. But yeah, the adding music to things was crazy. So like I have Dead or Alive 3. I don't know if Putty said that.
Yes, that's on my honorable mention. I was going to.
Lego, both Lego. Okay, the entire Lego Star Wars
saga. Yeah.
I was gonna say both, but like all of them.
Yeah.
Those are really good. Not Ninja Gaiden Black is
okay. That's taking on my list now.
That was
I'm literally just taking stuff on my list. Well. Yeah, as you're saying them.
What am I supposed to go? Someone else say something.
Destroy All Humans.
Destroy All Humans.
Okay, that's on my honorable mention.
Was that exclusive?
That was Destroy All Humans was exclusive. Yes,
I thought it was on PlayStation as well. Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure Destroy All Humans was exclusive, but if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and the internet will let me know.
All right, so Ninja Gaiden Black is gone. All right, I have another one, Oddworld Stranger's Wrath. A lot of people didn't know about this game.
Yeah, it was amazing. It's good, but I think it doesn't compare to Abe's Odyssey.
But it's different. That was the better one. But you have to understand, Abe's Odyssey, it came out for PlayStation, and it's two different games altogether. Even though it's made by the same company,
but it's not. Yeah, it's two different games.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like, it was still a good game. I love the whole thing where you use animals as your ammo. It was just such an ingenious idea. It was so fun. I was so addicted to that game. Anyway, another one.
Max Payne.
I think it's on my PS2 list.
Yeah, I played Max Payne on this.
I played it on the Xbox. Yeah, it was
Time Splitters too. Mm-hmm. I think we talked about Time Splitters. Was it on Dreamcast?
I think the first Time Splitter, or was it System Shock?
No, I think it's System Shock. I don't remember now.
Yeah, I can't remember either. That was, I think, on our Dreamcast list, though.
I mean, I played a lot. This is the system where I became like addicted to sports games.
Xbox, going through a lot of the online lists, a lot of them, when the 2K series first launched on the Xbox, it really took off with the 2K series. Like before Madden had the exclusive NFL rights, you had the NFL 2K series, which was fantastic. And the NHL 2K series was good too.
Well, yeah, I have ESPN NHL hockey on here. Mm-hmm. Which was the only hockey game where you could do the skills competition, which it's so mind-boggling that of all the sports, it's the only one now that doesn't have a competition in it. In basketball, you have the 3-point and the dunk. In baseball, you have the home run derby. But in in hockey they don't have the skills competition in the game. It doesn't make any sense to me.
It was really weird because the thing is, I didn't play much sports games. I know I played the Blitz games and the Street games because I know the Street games were on Xbox Live. I played with, and the reason I played it is because I had a friend of my ex that actually brought over sports games, and he didn't own an Xbox. And what it was is everyone would use my Xbox as a jukebox. They'd bring over a CD, I would put it on there, and we literally just use it as a jukebox while we're sitting there partying or anything like that. And he would literally buy games, and he wouldn't own the console just to come over and play with me. So there were tons of times he'd buy sports games almost like, yeah, it was really weird. But anyway, it's just, but
over.
Yeah, I mean, it did definitely go over my head. I had no idea what you were playing with that. But anyway, that's just, again, anyway. But so I know the street games were very popular at that time, and I know that there were a few that were on Xbox that I didn't even think about until you guys brought up the sports. So
yeah,
that's definitely one I think I could say was really popular around that time too, I think.
Yeah, the street games they could be showing up on a little list on another episode.
Well, okay. So here, since we're on sports, all I have left on my honorable mention is sports.
Okay.
So top spin tennis, which was great.
Yes. The first
SSX3, which is like maybe the best snowboarding game that's ever been made.
Better than Tricky?
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
NFL Fever 02 and NBA Inside Drive 03. Those are like the games that not only introduced me to like really playing other sport games that weren't hockey, but it actually got me and my brother into liking basketball and football, because before that we didn't care about that. Like in Canada, but no one gave a shit that there was a basketball team. It didn't even matter. It was non-existent until video games started getting really, really popular and people started playing basketball games, and then everyone became a basketball fan all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's that first Raptors team, Oliver Miller.
Oh god, Ian Sotomayor. Yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of good games on here.
Yeah,
but as far as a favorites list go, that was where I was at, because I mean, I had the Sega Racing. I don't remember what it was called. With the console when you bought it, we talked about this before.
Sega Rally.
Daytona? Oh, Sega Rally.
I don't even know what it was called. It might have been called Sega Rally. Yeah, maybe. No, it wasn't NASCAR. Daytona was like NASCAR.
Yeah, then it must have that, or it's Virtual Racing.
Outrun.
It could have been Virtua Racing. And it was Virtua Racing, and it came with Jet Set Radio Future on it, one disc. It was a split disc, and that's
I thought that was Project Gotham Racing. I thought that was the one, Project Gotham Racing. I'm pretty sure it was Project Gotham Racing.
I don't know.
It could have been the first. It could have been the first Forza too. The first Forza.
It wasn't. It was made by Sega. It popped up and it said Sega, and I bought Project Gotham separately, so it definitely wasn't. Project Gotham.
Then it's probably most likely it's Sega Rally.
Yeah, it might have been Sega Rally.
But the Xbox was definitely the system of the console of choice for if you wanted to play sport games, for sure.
Great controller.
Yeah,
it's the later controller.
Yeah.
Yes, with the dual analog, the layout where they still use that layout to this day. And to this day,
the Duke.
No, the Duke. I bought the reissue a few years ago for the Xbox One. I like it. It's still a fun controller to play with. It's just more nostalgia factor than anything.
When we got our Xbox, it was when they first released the new controller. It was the set. It came with the new controller, and it came with that game, the split game.
No, see, the reason I'll never forget it is because I remember PS2 was the big thing, and when I heard Microsoft was making a console, I think it was like that Christmas I got it, and I don't know if they made the new one around that time, but I remember distinctly the Duke controller having like the black and white buttons in a really odd position.
They're at the bottom.
Yeah, at the bottom. It's really, really weird. And I remember I had to go get a new controller eventually because that one started messing up. And I was like, wait, they brought out new controllers? So I had no idea until later that was actually a thing. You know what I mean?
Well, it got really weird because the black and white button became something that you used often for stuff. And then it just disappeared off Xbox controllers. There just was no more black and white button.
I think, didn't the black and white button become the menu and the start button?
Yeah, but the placement of them, remember, you had your four buttons and then they were right above it. So like you could use them for things like you could double tap your thumb across.
It was almost like a 6-button six face button
Yeah,
controller.
exactly.
But
Like,
did they have the bumper and the trigger buttons or no?
They had no L1 and R1.
They had the
just had the
Okay,
triggers.
so they had the triggers, not the bumpers. That's
Yeah.
why they had the black and white buttons.
Yeah, yep. That got replaced with the LB and RB.
Yeah.
That ended up being those. I do have a few more games.
Yeah, go for it.
Did anybody mention Burnout 3 Takedown?
No,
Nope.
I don't really like the Burnout series.
Really, I loved them because
I'm not a fan of arcade
The only one-
racing.
The only one I kind of liked was Burnout Paradise.
Yeah.
which
I like that
wasn't-
one too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there in those eras, like when we did N64 and stuff, the reason I have a lot of those games is because those were the games that existed. As we were progressing here, I really strayed away from playing arcade racing. Like,
and it was more of a sim racer.
Underground, Need for Speed Underground, and
Yes.
then at Midnight Club, Dub Edition, and Project Gotham, and then after that, it's only like Forza after that.
The three racing I was playing was Midnight Club, Need for Speed, and Burnout. And the reason I played Burnout so much because it did one thing that didn't satisfy my need. I always wanted to have a little more destruction when it came to Need for Speed because it was just street racing. I understood. That's what the Burnout did for me. It basically said, yeah, you don't customize the cars, but it was so good, the destruction on that to see, like, especially the ones where you had the lanes where it wasn't actually a race. You wanted to see what kind of chaos you can make with the car, and then more cars and more vehicles as far as like going in the four-way lane, or not four lane, but the light, you know what I mean, where you go at the light and try to crash everything. So I had to put that on there because even though I did put Midnight Club and Need for Speed higher in my for myself, I couldn't resist the fun of that. So, and I do have a few other fighting games, but I don't know. You guys kind of started to slow down your list. So, is there any more on you guys?
I got a few more.
Okay, go ahead.
I got probably the most underrated Rockstar game there is, The Warriors.
Yeah, but that was PlayStation. Again.
Yeah, I played that on PlayStation.
Yeah, I played it on the Xbox, so that's for me
is.
But Mercenaries, I played.
Mercenaries is good.
I played. That was like one of the Battlefront 2. I played a lot on the Xbox.
Yeah, there was a good tank game.
Steel Battalion.
Steel Battalion.
Yep.
That's the one that came with like the whole control scheme of the
And then the Mech Assault. I think Mech Assault was also on Xbox.
Crimson Skies.
Crimson Skies is good.
Was that was an exclusive. I know that was a fantastic jet fighter, almost futuristic.
Oh, that was rated as one of the best plane fighter games ever
of all time.
Like modern times. Yeah, until like the newer stuff came out.
Didn't LucasArts do that? I'm thinking I could be mistaken, but I think it was LucasArts.
I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah. Oh, the Indiana Jones game, The Search for Atlantis or whatever it was.
I never played that. I know of its existence, but I've never played it. It like I said, Xbox had this was like a learning curve, right? So people weren't really on board, but 360 for me is where it all took off. I really think the fact that they have underutilized after 360, it's like Splinter Cell just stopped.
Yeah.
And to me, I don't understand because to me, that's the best exclusive game that Xbox had. I mean, I get people like Halo, but I couldn't stand Halo as a single player game. It made me so upset. Okay. It was just like a really nerdy game for me at that time. Like wasn't my jam.
Splinter Cell, I think, may have been Xbox's answer to Metal Gear.
It was 100%.
But you did have Metal Gear on Xbox. There was the one game, Metal Gear.
I had it.
Anyways, but Splinter
Cell the
Cell
better
was
Metal
great.
Gears were on the PlayStation.
And
obviously.
the 360 had a few good Splinter Cell games too.
Yeah,
and then it just went away, and now they're making a new game but it's only being treated as a spiritual successor. But it doesn't really have anything to do. It's just the game mechanics will be like Splinter Cell.
Yeah,
but it doesn't make sense to me. It's such a huge IP. Why wouldn't you bring it back?
Yeah,
but the Rainbow Six series is still going on, though. Didn't Rainbow Six split off from the Splinter Cell series?
There was two games. There was Rainbow Six, and there was another Tom Clancy one as well that never went anywhere, and it just ended.
Ghost Recon? No, not Ghost Recon.
Ghost Recon was much later.
No, I'm trying to think what you're saying. Ghost Recon, Rainbow Six.
But yeah, there was another Tom. You're right, though. There was a Tom.
There was
Clancy.
like one game, and it only lasted for one game, and then the series never went anywhere.
Yeah, but
not the Division. Never mind. That's later.
No, Division's 2. Division's 2. But the last time we did, Sam Fisher does to keep on topic here. Sam Fisher does make an appearance in the first Ghost Recon game. There is a mission with Sam Fisher voiced by Michael Ironside. So
Really?
yes. So there's a
Wow.
mission in I forgot which mission it was, but there is a mission in Ghost Recon Wildlands, and Sam Fisher or Michael Ironside does reprise the role of Sam Fisher, and that's the last time I think we've seen him as Sam Fisher.
Dang, nice.
Yeah.
I never even knew that. I honestly didn't know that.
Yeah, Ghost Recon Wildlands. It's a very underrated game. It's really, really good.
It was called End War.
End War. Okay, that was that's an obscure one.
Yeah, I just know I knew there was another game. I didn't know what it was or anything about it. I mean, he does have other games. Like he has like a lot like Hawk, which is like the helicopter game. I'm pretty sure.
Vegas, Rainbow Six Vegas. There was but there was a lot of Rainbow Six games before the one that's out there now. That's become a huge IP. Yes. I want to say probably too is another really underrated game that was on the Xbox was the Buffy the Vampire Slayer game.
Actually, yeah, I see. The thing is, I didn't even think about that until you said that. Now
I never played it.
Yeah, I remember renting that, and I remember that was one of those games I didn't actually buy because I beat it when I rented it. But I remember I rented it and extended it. Like I had it for like 3 days, and I ended up having it for like a week and like 2 days just to beat it because it was actually a fun game. You know what I mean? Yeah. And they had the original cast actors, like the actual voice actors.
And that's the thing too. That was one of the few times that they actually had the actual intellectual rights to the property, and they really did a good job with that. Like it was true to the show.
Yeah, and her weapon was literally I remember literally being a pick. You know what I mean? Because you'd see it in her hand and she would run around. It was so visually appealing too because you could it was dark, but it was like I don't know how to explain. You know, sometimes when you look at a game, it's a little too saturated in darkness. Yeah. Like whoever made it did a really good job in keeping the levels on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean the levels were dark, but then you had the characters that had the pop of color. Like Buffy was in the red pants with the white top kind of thing, and it would that's where it would stand out, so you wouldn't lose that character in the darkness. And the way she would run with the stake was modeled after the way she would do it in the show. And I thought Buffy the Vampire Slayer was one of the most underrated games on the Xbox. Go ahead.
There was a fighting game, a beat 'em up, and it was supposed to be like really big, and it was on Xbox. And I remember renting it with my friend because he lives right next to the Blockbuster, and
it might be the one that won next. Here's the thing: I've got 2 fighting games on the list I haven't mentioned yet. One of them is Bloody Roar. Bloody Roar, a lot of people don't even know about, but it was such a great game. Bloody Roar was like a virtual fighter type game, but you can actually transform into like animals, like beasts.
Oh, I think it was more like a Dead or Alive.
Yes, exactly. It played like a Dead or Alive system. Yep. And you could actually knock people out of the ring and through the cage and everything. Like that's the one thing I loved what they were doing on Xbox. It seemed like a lot of companies were willing to like take chances on trying new IPs and do it over on the Xbox side. I don't know why. Maybe Xbox are just giving a little more money out there to get more IPs. Because another one no one knows about is X-Men: The Next Dimension, which was an X-Men fighting game they put on the Xbox. And I remember, like, even when I had gotten it, none of my friends even knew it even came out. You know what I mean? It was one of those things that popped in, like when I saw it in the store, I was like, what the heck is this? You know what I mean? And I remember distinctly the reason I grabbed it is because Psylocke was in it. You know what I mean? And that was not a rare character you saw in a lot of the X-Men games. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
there was a couple games that came out on the Xbox that also came out on the GameCube, but because the Xbox was a little bit more powerful system, you had the 2 X-Men Legends games.
Yes.
That were...
Oh, sorry, go.
Continue. No, go ahead, Campo.
No, X-Men Legends. Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, the X-Men Legend games, because the hardware on the Xbox was a little bit more powerful, they looked a little bit more visually appealing. And that was the first time you can actually like assemble a team and customize your team, like way before, like, because then they had Ultimate Alliance on the 360, which is still one of my most favorite games of all time.
We'll get there.
We'll get there eventually one day. But
wasn't there a Wolverine game on Xbox?
Yes, there was.
That was really good.
So here's the thing. I'm glad you brought that up. Here's the thing. It was X-Men Origins. Remember how I was talking about?
Yes, and it was a really good game, though, right? Because I remember playing the crap out of it. I forgot about that game completely.
But X-Men Origins, I think, was on the 360, though.
No, I think there was a Wolverine game. I'm pretty sure on.
There was.
No, you're right. You're right. I'm thinking of something different.
X-Men Origins was on the 360 and the PS3.
So what was
it was called? Wait, no, it was called X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Was it on the-
PlayStation 2. It
and
came out
OG?
first on PlayStation 2 and Xbox, and then it was on re-released on.
Oh, okay, they had a.
That's why. Okay.
Okay, so it was probably towards the end of the
Well, see-
console generation.
All I know is the reason I knew about it is because I remember being excited for the movie.
Oh no,
and then-
wait, hold on.
What?
We're going back. It came out on all of them at the exact same time at the end of the lifespan. The game we're thinking of is X2 Wolverine's Revenge. That was on
Oh, okay.
Xbox.
That was the one you were thinking of. That was a good game too, though.
That was a good game, yeah. But that's the one you're thinking of, buddy. That's definitely the one or maybe you're thinking of both.
I don't know. See, the thing is, I played a lot, and I don't remember because I remember.
But
the thing
Origins
is-
was a good game. I remember.
It was
Yeah,
better than the movie.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I remember playing the demo and then buying the game because the demo itself, like I remember you used to get the magazine demos. The Xbox magazine, like
Yeah.
was huge. I literally had a subscription coming in every month. So yeah, that was something that I saw the demo, was excited for the movie, went and saw the movie, bought the game, but hated the heck out of the movie.
Nice.
I literally walked out of the theater in that movie.
I see your WCW in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've only got 2 more, but they're definitely
Yeah.
just on my side. So I'll wait till I'll just throw them in there. Sonic Heroes and Shadow the Hedgehog. Even though they're not the greatest games in the world, I love Sonic, and those were 2 change of paces. And Shadow the Hedgehog was a horrible game, but it was still fun because it was Shadow with guns. It was badly made, but I loved it. So I had to throw it on there now.
I got a few more too. Campo, you got any more?
No, I finished all mine when I
Okay.
did the sports.
So I want to stick with the RPG and BioWare. You had Jade Empire.
Jade Empire.
Oh my
was good.
god, I forgot about Jade Empire.
I didn't
Yeah.
really play it that much though to put it on the list.
Why did I think of Jade Empire? Was
Jade
on 360
Empire.
for some reason?
You had Chronicles of Riddick, Escape from Butcher
Yes.
Bay.
So I was gonna put that on here, not remembering that you talked about it. But
Mhm.
then when we came to film the video, I remembered you talked about it in a movie episode.
Yes.
So I should have put it on my list, but I didn't. That's a good game.
Yes, it is a very good game. Then they re-released it, I think, on the PS3. Something about Dark Athena, and that's Butcher's Bay extended kind of thing. I have that. I have Outrun 2006.
That's a pretty good game.
One
That's
of
the
the
one
most.
that-
That's
that's
so
what-
rare to find right now. And if you have a copy of that, you're sitting on a gold mine.
I didn't know that. See, no, the Outrun. I thought that's what he was talking about earlier when he was talking about the bundle, but I didn't remember it
Yeah,
being in a
no,
bundle. That's why I
and-
didn't know. Yeah,
Like you said, Campo, I'm not a fan of like the arcade racers, but Outrun I will play till the day I die, just because I have so many memories from the Sega Master System on that one. And I gotta. What else do I have here? Yeah, and I think that's about it for me as well. Putty, you got any more?
no, actually, that was it. Literally the Sonic Hero Shadow the Hedgehog, the X-Men. Yeah, that's it. I mean,
Okay,
There-
okay, go. I'll tell you after.
I said there were a lot of fighting games. I remember the problem was, and this is why I'm having problems, is when it came to the fighting game. I remember sometimes buying one game on like PlayStation, and then it would get damaged, and then realizing it was on Xbox, so like grab it there. Like Xbox to PS2, there was such a time where I was I don't even remember. Like I remember Tony Hawk. I was literally buying like 1 and 2 on this console, then buying 3 over here in Underground. You know what I mean? Going
Yeah.
so that I actually forgot which console did I actually play that one on. So that was actually another problem I had here. And that's when I realized when San Andreas, I started putting on another list. But then I was like, wait a second. I remember having the custom music on it. So that literally was not on the PlayStation. That's what made me think about that. So for all I know, there could be games on my PS2 list that I actually played on Xbox. And I just don't remember. Because
Yeah, there was a big. There were. Then that's always been Microsoft and Xbox's issue is they don't have that many exclusives.
yeah,
And I think
what made it
that's what
harder.
hurts them a lot.
Yeah.
You'll see for me as we progress through these lists where this one is PS2 heavy, like how PlayStation, I had a lot of N64 and PlayStation 1. And then it became like Xbox was like this and PS2 was like this, but then Xbox 360, I barely played any PS3 games. I can easily give you a top list because I played enough, but I barely ever played PS3. I was Xbox forever once
Yeah, I
Xbox
agree.
360 came out. Even for PS4 and Xbox One, it was like a fight tooth and nail for my brother to finally get me to buy a PlayStation 4 just to play with everybody online, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, that was the same situation. Like, for example, when Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis were out, I was going between both of them. You know what I mean? I had to have Mortal Kombat and Genesis just because I felt it was always better over there. And then things kind of do the same thing. Like Xbox to PS2 to Xbox 360 to PS3. I bought the PS3 because I bought the Xbox OG Xbox and the PS2 because they had exclusive games I wanted. But what led me to the Xbox was the custom audios and, of course, the online play, which I remember PlayStation tried to do it, and I actually had the storage device that went on the back, that really clunky thing where you had to move all your files back and forth. It was stupid. PlayStation,
it was a much
on that
smoother
part.
experience on Microsoft for online.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, not even just online, I'm talking about just storage, because they had like a hard drive you can put on the PS2, but the problem was you could only move stuff over there. You couldn't play anything off the hard drive. You had to move stuff off the hard drive onto your PS2 or a memory card, and then unplay it. But the thing was, when 360 came out, it
had internal storage.
Exactly. See, 360 had internal storage, had the thing would pop on top, but also their party chat, their setup was better than PS3. So when I got the PS3, I literally got the 360 first because it was PS2 I bought, then Xbox, then 360, then PS3, and I only bought PS3 because I wanted to play stuff like Uncharted and the new God of War 3 when it was coming out. I was like, I got to get a PS3 now. You know what I mean? Only because of stuff like that. When it came to 360, they were better on the online play, but that's also when stuff got confusing because I was like, I would buy one game for one console and then maybe find a cheaper one and get it for the PS3 instead. So I was bouncing around so much between both Xbox and PS2 and 360 and PS3 that it's hard to remember what system that I actually played on. You know what I mean?
I mean, I'm good for that. I remember that, but
the same thing, Putty, same thing. I was in a similar situation that happened with you. Was I had my PS1, and then right when the PS2 came out, I got the PS2, and then towards the end, I got myself an Xbox, and the same thing. Towards the end, I just started buying everything on Xbox as opposed if it was on both consoles, and then I moved to the 360 when it came out.
Well, see, I actually got the Xbox. Remember, PS2 came out long before Xbox even came out.
Yeah,
so,
at least 2-3 years.
Exactly. So I had that lifespan of PS2 and to save money to get the Xbox because they were talking about it, and I'm like, hopefully Microsoft will be good. But then when I actually got my hands on and then the kiosk to actually play Xbox, I was like, holy crap. And plus the controller, how I feel. As soon as I touched that controller, the first thing that popped in my head, Dreamcast. Like it felt like I was holding a Dreamcast controller. So of course I wanted it. You know what I mean? It just had that sentimentality for me. So
you have such weird correlations between things that to any other person wouldn't make any sense.
But it's because the thing is I guess I hold things to heart when I get it. You know what I mean?
It's like an obsession.
Well, yeah, I guess. But I mean, that's
in
why I'm a
way,
gamer. You know, either way, it's just there's certain things that make me go ooh and on things, and I don't want to listen to what other people say. I want to listen to how I feel about something. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like I'm not doing it because something's popular. That's the reason why, I want to switch or anything like that, but I never literally bought a Wii because everyone was like, the Wii's awesome. I never actually bought a Wii. So like if I do a Wii list, it's based on playing my friend's Wii. That's literally it.
See, I bought the Wii because I modded my Wii. So I just had like this 4 terabyte like hard drive that I just put games on there. And
the amount of games is insane.
Yeah. It was, and 80% of it was just shovelware on the Wii.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
it's still the same on Nintendo. A lot of it is still shovelware on all the systems.
Yeah. They just call them indie games now.
Yeah. Right. But my point, but that's what I was trying to make my point is like I said, I haven't gotten the new Xbox consoles. Like I did get an Xbox One and I ended up taking it back because I was doing rent to own for it, but I never played it. And the thing is, it's not like I had anything bad about it. It's just now that both consoles basically give you everything you want, both from the same one, it's only about exclusives now. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, the only company that actually has the best exclusives would be Nintendo, because that's what they thrive on is Nintendo on their core games that
that's
create.
If you're a Zelda or a Mario or a Metroid guy, right?
Exactly.
If you don't care about those, then you want to go the PlayStation route because PlayStation does have.
I think if you're a gaming purist, like if you're a real gamer that's been gaming for your whole life,
play everything.
Those Nintendo games actually matter. Yes. Like I get it if you're a little Fortnite kid, I'm sorry, and that's what you play and you could play it anywhere and you're happy playing on your PlayStation, that's fine. But if you really play games, at some point you want to play that Mario Odyssey.
I want to
play Zelda. Like, I want to switch so bad.
I just bought the Skyward Sword HD remake, like the re-release, and I'm playing that currently, and that's so much fun. Like I haven't. Sorry.
No, you're playing something I want to play, and I literally not watched any footage of that. Odyssey, like I want to play those two so badly, but the problem is I don't want to be spoiled. So it's like I've literally not watched one video on those, and it's been years because I don't have the money to get a Switch right now. But the thing is I don't want to spoil it for me because it's still like watching a movie. For me. That's what's good about Nintendo is they have a story that's rich. I want to see it. I don't want no one spoiling it for me. So to this day, I still have to wait. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. I'll buy one eventually. I would never undock it. I was my personal opinion on that is I was waiting for them to make a hard system that just plugs into a TV. I would never in my life unhook it from the dock ever.
That's why I got the Switch and the Switch Lite.
That's why I have a 3DS. If I want a game, I'll take a real handheld. And especially in Toronto, I'm not walking around with a freaking Switch in my hand. You're not going to pay me enough to do that.
Yeah,
I barely want to pull my cell phone out.
Well, I had a chance to get a Switch Lite. The reason I didn't grab it is because it's all based on portable, and I want to be able to watch, like, make videos and stream it. And I feel like Lite does not give you that opportunity as well. So, that's why.
Console gaming for me belongs on a TV. That's just how I live.
Agreed. And
it's
going back.
Yeah, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Finish your thought.
PC gaming for me also belongs on a monitor. I can't stand people that play on laptops. It grosses me out.
You're not going to like
if you. I have a pretty decent gaming laptop too, and I hook it up to a monitor. I don't even play.
It's like, why would you want to play like that?
Because you want a higher refresh rate, you want a higher resolution, you want a higher FPS, you play on a monitor.
So do you know about the Stream Deck then? Are you familiar with that?
Yes, I do.
Well, I was asking John because he said he doesn't want to play anything else, but like they're literally making Steam is making a portable console that plays PC games. Literally,
I wouldn't play that.
Yeah,
it's not the same. It is not the same.
No,
like it's like I've played the xCloud and all that. It's not the same. I've played The Witcher on my phone, and it's not the same as playing it on my 55-inch TV. You know what I mean? You can't get immersed into the,
especially when it's not FPS. It's literally made for a cinematic experience. I get it. First person shooters, you want to have a smaller monitor. You want fast FPS, like actual FPS frames per second,
and low latency.
And it's like I get that, but like when you're playing like Assassin's Creed, you want to watch that like in a massive screen,
God of War,
right?
Another one.
Yeah,
God
exactly.
Of War,
it's meant to be
Uncharted.
Cinematic.
The Tomb Raider games. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
But we got way off. Anyways, that game was called Sega GT 2002. That's what it was called.
Sega GT. Yes, I remember that. Good call back on that one. But going to a thought that we had on earlier, you were saying about gaming purists too. I'll buy every console just because I want to play every game.
Eventually, I'll get the new Xbox, but I'll be honest with you, the PS5 is like, I know you don't have one, but it's, and I'm not.
Good luck finding one.
This is my point of like, I really like the PS4, but I still played a lot of Xbox One. It just came down to everybody I knew had a PlayStation. Everyone traded in their Xboxes. I'm like the only one of my friends has an Xbox still. So I still have mine. It's here in a box, right? It's in a PS5 box behind me.
Like the Xbox One?
Yeah. Xbox One, the original one.
Yeah.
But I mean, after playing the PS5, nothing compares to this. It is so absolutely unbelievably the best console. Like, I know that I haven't played the Xbox yet, so like I'm not talking about this generation, but like up to this point of playing consoles, nothing is even remotely close. The last generation is straight up garbage compared to this.
But you're also making a educated presumption, I guess, because you are someone you're not one of these PS fanboys that's just saying, oh yeah, PlayStation is better than Xbox.
No, I'm an Xbox guy until this point right now.
Right,
I'm
but
like,
that's what I'm saying.
I don't know if I could go back to Xbox.
Right, and that's fair. Completely fair. Like, I mean, same thing. If I'm playing with friends online, I got 10 times as many friends I do on the PSN than I do on my Xbox.
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah, I agree with you.
Right?
Like,
and if I'm playing online, the only thing I went with the Xbox earlier was because the Xbox had the free online. Now now you got to pay for it. But Xbox, when the 360 launched, online play was free.
Oh,
you can go online.
The PlayStation 5, PlayStation 3 was the same way when it first came out.
Oh, you had to pay. You had to pay to go online.
3?
Yeah.
PlayStation 3, you could use the online features. You couldn't actually play online for free.
No, they did. Go look it up. PS3, you're taking PS4.
PS3.
I played all my
PS3
games. I never had PlayStation Plus or any online
Oh, maybe
service.
it was. I don't remember.
Maybe I
Go
can't-
look it up.
yeah.
Yeah, no, because I remember 360 was the one that charged for Xbox Live.
Yes, I had to pay on my 360.
Yeah, and my PS.
Oh,
my
you're
PS3
right. You're
did.
right. You're right.
It's
My
flipped, yeah.
apologies. Yeah.
No, that's
The
fine.
Xbox.
But I just wanted to bring this up because the thing is, here's the thing. I bought an Xbox One after I got the PS4, and here was the situation. And I actually lost a lot of friends because of this. Because I was such a diehard Xbox 360 fan, I played on there and I played all the Call of Duties on there. You know what I mean? Then and I didn't even play them on the PS3, but then I looked at PS4 and Xbox One, and PS4 won me over. So when I moved over there, I was there for about a year and a half to almost 2 years, and I finally got an Xbox One. Well, I came back over there, I still had friends on my friends list, and they said, "Where have you been?" And I told them, I said, "I've been playing PlayStation 4," and they go, "You traitor?" And I go, "Why?" They go,
What kind of people do you
"No,
know?
I seriously, not joke.
You're
no
living
joke.
in like a cartoon fantasy land.
Dude, it's no joke. Like they were like, why? I mean, why did you go over there?" And I said, "It's a better console." And he's like, "You're ridiculous."
Why should I have to have internet connection to do anything on my console? That's where my disconnect came from
With the
PlayStation
Xbox.
4. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Every time I lose internet connection, I can't play any games. Like, what the hell's
You
going on?
have to have constant connectivity.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
And
but
I hated that.
Well, see, here's my thing. My point to the whole thing is I went over to PlayStation 4, and I know your brother like Sony. He's always been dedicated to Sony. I'm always going to be one of those people that I look at a console and say, which one do I like better? I picked PS5 because it just seems so much better to me. You know what I mean? I liked everything about it based on what I saw. You know what I mean?
Well,
but if
it changes.
yeah. But that's what I'm saying. If we
Yeah.
go into next console generation, I mean, we're still a long time that happens. But if PS6 comes out and then Xbox Gobbledygook comes out and the Xbox Gobbledygook is better,
That's what its name is probably going to be.
Yeah, right.
Xbox.
but I'm gonna want that Xbox over the PlayStation, and it's the problem,
it's just I fully agree with you.
and that's the problem. Is a
Yeah.
lot of people are gonna get mad because they're like, "Why would you go over to another console? I can't play with you no more." You know what I mean? It's like,
But
I
it
like that
doesn't
it's-
matter. It shouldn't.
Eventually,
I
I'm
know
gonna get
that's the
both.
problem.
For
That's the
you,
thing.
Yeah.
your video game community is like your place where your friends gather. For me, gaming is like the last thing on my mind. It's where my friend text messages me, say, "Yo, are you doing anything?"
But
No.
see-
Oh, you want to play Battlefield? Okay.
But
Like
see,
I
that's
don't
the-
come online to a community. I don't
But that's
care.
the problem.
That doesn't exist
because
to
of Xbox and Xbox 360. That started happening for me because you got to think. Me and my friends would actually bring the original Xbox over to our house and connect to each other, and literally have landline parties where we sit there and play Halo 2, fighting against each other.
Yeah,
it
but
was
the
amazing.
difference is I go to my friend's house and they're not going to stop being my friend because I now own
Well,
a
no,
PlayStation.
I get that. But the thing was you have to understand these are people that I knew online that I haven't talked to because I wasn't on a new Xbox console.
I
So,
know,
for
that's
example,
my point.
yeah,
It
so-
doesn't exist for me. I
Hell,
don't have
none of
that.
my I
My-
can maybe count on one hand game friends my age that still game.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can count on one hand the amount of people I have in my friends list that I don't actually hang out with in real life.
yeah, right.
So I mean, but I mean, it changes every generation. I think you
Yeah.
go where you go. NES, I went from NES, that was the best console. Then I
Mhm.
went to Sega Genesis, that was to me the better console.
Mhm.
Then I went to N64, and then I got a PlayStation later, and I was like, oh, I like PlayStation. So then I got a PS2. Then I got an Xbox later, and I was like, oh, I like Xbox. And I got a
And then the
360, and I was when I
exactly.
got the 360, I was like, nope, PlayStation's over for me. Xbox is so much better. And then PS4, I got both, and I realized the flaws of what Xbox was doing, and I wavered to PlayStation.
Yeah.
And because everyone got a PS5, I had no choice but to also get a PS5. But now that I have one, I'm like, this is where I want to be. Maybe
Yeah.
the next generation, Nintendo's going to drop a new system, and that's going to be where I go. But until then,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and see the thing is, if I had the money to buy every system, I would. But sometimes it's like, okay, if you don't have the money, you got to pick one. And I'm going to pick the one that's going to make me happy, not because people are there. Because the thing is,
I
why
would
would
pick the one where people are, I think, probably.
I mean, it probably has changed now for me. You know what I mean? Because back then it wasn't that, but that was because, again, I was so used to buying consoles how I wanted to that when 360 to the PS4 happened, that it was I still had that mentality. I didn't think about the online community, and I think once I got on PlayStation 4, that's when it started changing. I go, okay, I kind of have to stick with the community situation, and that kind of sucks though because I miss Halo, I miss Gears of War, I miss these games that I can't play because they're exclusive. Well, I can play them on Microsoft.
Yeah, but let's say you had an Xbox, you would miss God of War, and you would miss
I know that's the
Uncharted,
problem.
and
Yeah,
you would miss Last
Uncharted.
of Us. Exactly. You would miss
So
so many
it's-
games too, right?
And
Yeah, so it's just-
I feel with this current generation, I may skip the Xbox altogether just because all those
You get on
games, I can just play on PC.
PC,
Yes,
exactly.
exactly. That's exactly right.
Because I have Game Pass. I just pay $20 a month. I have Game Pass on my PC.
You can play Xbox on the computer. So
and I play Xbox on, and that's exactly it. So if I had to go with a console this generation, I'd go with the PS5 because I want to play God of War Ragnarok. I want to play.
Wait, don't you have a Google too?
I have Stadia, yeah.
Yeah, you have Stadia.
Yeah, and I play that on my PC too. I see.
Well, that's like right now between Xbox.
I like the
and,
controller.
The controller is really
too.
nice with the orange and the
But like right now, if I had to choose, I would choose Switch over the new Xbox actually, because I want to Switch so bad.
Well, I really want to play those games. I don't like. I just told you, I don't like Halo. The reason that it was on my list, which is what we were talking about originally, this Xbox,
just because you played it a lot.
I played it so much, and it became like a kind of like a ritual that we would meet up and we were gonna play Halo until we got bored of Halo, and then we were gonna play like NBA or something. But it was like a daily occurrence that Halo was gonna be played. But I don't like the games as a game. I like the enjoyment. I like the multiplayer. I think that was really well done. Yeah. I love the way that was done. I just don't care for the story of the Halo games, especially because every game was you beat the game. Oh, guess what? There's another Halo. Good luck. Like what? Like every time you destroy a Halo, there's another Halo. Like,
see, that's the point. I never looked at Halo because I also like that you get to make these levels, and I remember I actually had one of my levels featured in online through Halo 3. So it was really enjoyable to see. To see that kind of thing where you can be creative in that. It was never the story, honestly. Everyone was like, "Oh, I praise the Halo story." No, a Halo story. Combat Evolved. One, I will say, I liked Combat Evolved, but that was because it was something new,
something different.
Yeah, exactly. Once we
but
got,
then again, Master Chief is still a ripoff of Doomslayer.
Yeah,
exactly.
You have to remember too. At that point, this is me like as a teenager now, and the way Halo looked was very cartoony. So my first instinct was, this is not cool. Look how stupid this looks. You guys are all playing this stupid children's game. Like, that's like my opinion of it, right?
Yeah,
the grunts. Like, everyone else was playing SOCOM, and SOCOM was like a greasy, realistic fighter game, right? And that's like where my disconnect especially was with Halo. But I mean, everyone has their FPS. You realize that later. Like for me, I was Counter-Strike for life. And then I discovered Battlefield and I never looked back. And to this day, I still don't like Call of Duty. I've never liked any Call of Duty except the World War II one. That's the only one I ever liked. Because
the most recent one or the original World War II?
The more recent one, because I had just come off playing Battlefield 1, which I really liked. And then I went right into Call of Duty World War II.
Okay.
And it was funny. Like
it's
the
funny
same game.
It's funny you like that because the World War II one is actually the one I didn't buy, and my friend game shared with me, so I'd play with him.
I played it with you. That's how I met you. Was playing.
No,
that
I know, but I just did not like it though. It was one I didn't like.
The only Call of Duty I think I ever played was Modern Warfare 2, only because everybody was talking about the no Russian level.
Yeah. I hated how cartoony it looked again, and it felt like an arcade game on a console. Like you were running around at 100 miles an hour and just spinning around in circles, shooting through walls, and everyone was dying with one bullet.
I think they started a lot of the internet memes were started through Halo too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the memes.
Oh yeah, of course. Like teabagging was like the number one.
What do you mean? T-pose was literally the greatest meme ever. Just floating around in a T-pose.
Yeah. But other than that, if you guys are done, we're done.
No, that's it.
Yeah. On that note, everyone, thanks again for joining us, and we will see you all next time.